What if the thing you dislike most about yourself isn't actually true? In this episode, three powerful dreams expose hidden beliefs about self worth, shame, and safety. From feeling too much to feeling not enough to avoiding confrontation altogether. These dreamers discover that the stories they've been carrying aren't really who they are. The dreams reveal a deeper truth, and they might reveal yours too. When discussing the dreams for today's show beforehand, Sandy asked why the spray from a faucet is a masculine energy symbol. The answer made her blush a lot. This airs on a family-friendly station, KKNW, so I don't include these details in the show, but see if you can figure it out when you hear the very first dream. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. It is so exciting to see you and welcome you to our show for this week. Got a lot going on.
Right. So, we do have a lot going on, but do we want to just dive straight into dreams?
Yeah, let's do that because that's always fun. The first one is titled Broken Faucet, and it's from Jessica. I'm washing my hands in a little sink tucked into an arched alcove. The water from the faucet is spraying out into the room. The pump dispenser on the soap is also broken because I pressed it and it starts squirting out like a sprinkler, moving in an arc across the room. I'm trying to reach into this chaos and turn off the faucet without getting soaked. Good luck, Jessica. All right, Michael, what do you make of that little dream?
This dream is about her believing in herself. So, how on earth do I get that out of that? So we always.
That's my question.
So, what is the dream about? Is it about masculine or feminine energy? And this is true for every single dream. They're going to be about one of these energies. Sometimes they're about both, and they're about the interaction. But here, it's all about one particular energy. Any idea which, Sandy?
Well, we know we have water, so it's a spiritual dream. I have no idea. You want to give me some clues?
So the masculine symbols in the dream are given by the faucet, which itself is a masculine symbol on its own. It's a sink with two taps and a single faucet. That's a masculine symbol. And then things spraying out of a masculine symbol is an even bigger masculine symbol. And so she has that twice in the dream. So the dream is really talking about her getting her masculine side in balance. So if you're wondering, well, how do I go from that to knowing it's about belief in yourself? We have a list of the traits of masculine and feminine energy, and we'll put a link to downloading that list under this show. So if you look for that, you get it. And so what you do when you know it's a masculine energy trait, you can go through the list and go, okay, I see this, and this, like there's about 20 odd on the list, but it's not going to be everything. So it's going to be something that the dreamer needs to address. And usually the dreamer is very, very well aware of what it is for them. So in her case, it's about believing in herself. And it's kind of funny because in talking to her, she thinks she has her masculine energy in balance. And she thinks, in fact, she can be overbearing with people. And her own guides are saying, no, you're not. So it's kind of funny how they do that. And we're going to do another of her dreams after this. So we'll fill in more of the blanks. What she's doing now is fixing the balance of masculine energy so that she understands herself. So do you have questions, or did I explain it in a way that you're afraid to ask questions?
No, there's lots of questions. Okay, so washing hands, is that a hands-on healing gift?
Well, interestingly enough, sinks in dreams are typically about masculine energy, and they're often, we can have them in a kitchen or a bathroom, but if they're in a different place that's kind of strange, they're often right near the front wall of the house, or they're even outside the front wall of the house, still connected to the wall. So they're typically about masculine energy, but they're also about cleansing things, clearing things. But she's not managing to do it. And she ducks out of the way of this spray. And the spray itself is a masculine energy thing, like projecting things is masculine energy. So she's stepping out of the spray. So she doesn't want to be impacted by this energy. So she's keeping her distance. Not a good thing ever in a dream.
That's funny. Okay, so we have a water from the faucet spraying out into the room. I don't know how she's not getting soaked from that.
Well, what about it? Was there a question in there?
Yeah, so we have a water and we have a faucet and it's spraying into the room. You want to give a little more detail on those?
So I can't talk about that. What way can you ask that in a way that I can actually answer?
I don't think I can. Alrighty. So she's trying to reach across the chaos and turn off the faucet without getting soaked. So is that her not wanting to balance it, or what's going on with the masculine energy there?
Well, this is really what it all boils down to for all of us all the time. We have an imbalance in an energy, or we inhibit the flow of an energy. And we don't necessarily know that we're doing that. So we are aware that there are certain traits that we have that we maybe don't like in ourselves. Like in her case, she says, I can be overbearing. I think I scare people. And her own team are saying, you don't. You're not overbearing and you don't scare people. So then, why do I have that perspective? Why do I think that about myself? And so here she is trying to turn down a masculine symbol because the spray out into the room is a masculine symbol. So she's trying to turn that down in both cases, doesn't want to get soaked while doing it. So it's not going to solve the problem for her, which is a good thing in the dream that it doesn't solve the problem, but it tells us where the issue is and what she needs to work at. And so that's what they cover in the next dream too. It's like, okay, here's where your imbalance is. Here's what we're going to do for you. Not necessarily saying it in the dream, but when I channeled on it, they're saying, here's what we're going to do. Like you see your masculine energy outside, out there, and we want you to bring it back, and we want it to be at your core. We want to install something at your core, and that's where your masculine energy should sit rather than in the space outside of you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's continue on to the next dream and see what else she's up to. So the next one is titled Olympic Swimming Pool. I like the sound of that. And this is Jessica again. There is a big Olympic-sized swimming pool. Mandy and Tracy are doing a competition. They are attempting handstands on someone's knees. They flop over because they haven't practiced. They enter the competition without really knowing how to do the movements, but they tried. I'm underwater looking at everything. I'm looking at the vastness of the pool and trying to remember how beautiful it looks. Deep and clear, so vast. Much larger than an Olympic-sized swimming pool that I've seen in real life. I can see people in the pool at the far edges. We're climbing out of the pool, and Tracy is upset she didn't do a great job. She's always hard on herself.
All right. So when we see Tracy being hard on herself, it means that Jessica is hard on herself. Simple as that. I asked her about Mandy and Tracy. She said Mandy is her closest friend. She's amazing with people. Everything goes well for her. And then Tracy is the opposite. Tracy, well, she's a good friend, but she suppresses herself. She's hard on herself, and she has body dysmorphia. So when you see a friend or somebody you know in a dream, you then will go through the list of issues that they have, or you might say, why do you think they're in the dream? So she shared with me the body dysmorphia. So obviously
What is dysmorphia?
it's like not liking your body. I'm not happy with my body. I channeled on it and said, yeah, she has it. And then the vastness is about looking at the vastness of her place in life. I liked that. It's kind of different in this dream, the way she's looking at the vastness in a big pool and points out like it's such a big pool. It's bigger than the biggest pool I've seen before. Like, so that's all really good. But it's really about her place in God, rather than her place in a pool. But water represents life and spirituality and all those things. So it fits really well. And then we have the Olympic connection, connecting it to gods. That's where the Greek gods were, right? So it all fits anyway, that this is all about her discovering her place in God. And she just started a program with us that will put her in the driver's seat for direction in her own life. Or as her guides put it, they want to give her a broad understanding so that she has context in order to understand her place in God. So you can't often just say, here's the answer. It's a bit like 42 is the answer in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So it's like you need to have context in order to understand the answers that your guides are going to give. But that's a fun journey to be on. And they said that on the other side, so in the spirit world, she's in a questioning space. However, she looks outwards for questions and not inwards, and they want to change this for her. That's what this life is about, and that's what the next year is going to be about. Learning about herself through helping other people is certainly part of it. She's definitely meant to deepen her spiritual understanding. That fits with her being in that pool and being happy and being underwater and breathing. You know, she's not talking about having difficulty breathing. And they pointed out one of her issues, and you can interject and ask questions. She wants to understand herself before interacting with people. And they said that we don't want you to do that. We want you to look at the interactions and the benefits of those interactions differently. It's not about me understanding myself, me knowing how I'm going to interact and then doing the interaction. There's a lot to be learned from the interactions rather than limiting yourself and not having them. They say she's very good at looking at herself without emotional breakdown, and they want to install within her kind of like a masculine lightning rod at her core that will dissipate the energies that build up within her over time, and then they spark negative beliefs. So these patterns can kind of repeat in her. She thinks she has them addressed, and then it's like there's too much of a build-up, and then it's like, oh, these negative thought patterns or beliefs about myself kick in. Now, we already know some of them because of the body dysmorphia and thinking that she scares people and so on and so on. All not true. Anyway, I'm going to let you ask me a question.
Alrighty, so we have a big Olympic size swimming pool, a swimming pool, which you always say is limiting your spiritual beliefs because it's a pool and not the ocean. But what do we get out of that here?
Well, here she points out the vastness of it. So that doesn't hold in this case. So, yeah, compared to the ocean, a swimming pool is limiting. But it's not limiting in this context because it's a huge pool and it's even bigger than any other pool she's ever seen. So it's about her getting into life and being comfortable about looking at her place in all of it. And she's quite distant from everybody else. She says she sees people in the distance. I forget what way she puts it. So it is all about her and her observing things around her.
Mhm. So we have the two of them doing a competition, but they attempt handstands on someone's knee and they flop over. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So handstands on somebody's knees, that's somebody going to support me while I do the handstands, but I haven't practiced this, so I have a bit of an issue. So it's a masculine energy thing. She also has a hands-on healing ability because the hands are emphasized here. But we already know she's working on masculine energy, and that just puts it right at the start that that's what this is.
And then why is she trying to remember how beautiful it looks, deep and clear and so vast?
Because she has a memory from the other side. We don't come here with no issue. It's safe to assume that you're here to learn about yourself in order to grow, to heal and to grow. And so here when we see this, looking at the vastness, it's like this life is going to give you the context of your place in this vastness in a way that's fantastic, you know, because she's talking about this in a beautiful way. Like I'm trying to get a glimpse of this. It's quite good.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then her friend's upset she didn't do a great job and she's always hard on herself. I think you covered that a little bit, but let's talk about that again.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. She's hard on herself. And a lot of people are guilty of this. Like we think we're failing in some way when we're not. We're meant to have fun. Like our friends are actually having fun, but end up being hard on themselves. Like they're trying to do something they haven't practiced. That's okay. But that's one of her issues. She wants to be practiced. She wants to know things. She wants to understand them before she does it. And they don't want her to do that. They want her to just be in life and figure herself out from being in life.
That's excellent. I mean, we could all learn from that, experiencing life and then learning about ourselves instead of sitting back and watching.
You know, it's one of those things when I was asking about the dream, they said that the armor she wears is part of the reason she experiences the things that cause her to wear the armor. You know, so it's a catch 22. We end up
Hmm.
where we get nudged into a particular belief system that then reinforces itself on us. And that's not good for her. So
Mm-mm.
this life is going to shift all that for her.
Wow, that's fabulous. Cool. I like the way they showed all of that, the masculine energy in both dreams and how she's dealing with it. I think that's great. This is titled Wolves in My Lounge, and it's from Sarah. And it's a long dream, so we're going to split it up. But I love that. Would not want to see a wolf in my lounge either. All righty. So let's dive in. I'm in a house alone in the mountains with wilderness around and wild animals. It's nighttime, and I anxiously lock all the doors and windows as there are wolves outside, baby bears just around the house. There's a lot of windows and curtains that aren't drawn. I can see the wolves prowling around, looking for a way in. I'm in the lounge, sitting on the couch near the hearth. A wolf has snuck in somehow, and more arrive. I don't know how they found their way in. I'm afraid and have something in my hands to strike them if they attack, but I fear that will make them more angry. Michael, this doesn't sound good. So what's going on here?
All right. So first off, it sounded like you said baby bears around the house, but it's maybe bears, just for
Oh,
clarity.
maybe bears around the
This
house.
is all threatening, a very dangerous situation. So the wolves prowling around outside, we have seen this in dreams on the show before. Oftentimes it's about digestive system or elimination system issues. And they're usually trying to get into the kitchen or somewhere like that, the back of the house. But this dream is not about that. It's more reflective of things that are going on in her life right now that are very threatening and horrible, really. She's going through a divorce, and lots of other horrible things have happened on top of that, not connected to the divorce. So she feels under threat. She has tried to protect herself, but despite those efforts, danger or pressure has still entered her life. And the dream reflects that situation, like I said, where she feels unsafe and things are difficult to control. It's not a health issue, just a very stressful time in her life. And the last part where she fears that defending herself from attack will make the wolves more angry, that's crazy. Don't take a passive pose hoping the damage will be less. Defend yourself. This is specifically challenging her tendency to avoid confrontation. It's not easier at all. And she's in a situation in life now where there's no possibility of avoiding confrontation. Things are with lawyers. So life makes us do things that we don't necessarily like, but those things help us to grow. So ultimately it's a good thing. Not anything that we would ever say, I would welcome with open arms, but when it happens and we get through it, we realize the growth that we got out of it. All right, back to you.
Very interesting. Okay, so we're in a house up in the mountains. Anything about mountains?
No, it's just the remote location or the feeling of a remote location, and I'm on my own. There's nobody there for me. And this is a masculine energy issue too. There's nobody there to support me. I have to do this myself. Different reasons for her, but ultimately it's interesting to look at the spectrum on masculine energy and go, what is this particular person's issue? So the last lady didn't believe in herself. This lady doesn't feel supported. And if you look at her life and she explains things to you, you would go, you're not supported at all. You're 100% right. But even with that being true, we have to change it by changing ourselves. We can't change the world around us and say, okay, if everybody in the world changes to be this way, then I will no longer have an issue. Of course you will. And life is about you fixing it so you don't have the issue, not fixing other people so you don't have the issue.
That's excellent. I like the way you said that. Okay, nighttime. So she can't really see. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. So I'm in the dark when it comes to this.
Mm.
And she's not 100% in the dark. So like some things happen in this that's good. Like she has the thing to defend herself in her hands. So it's not going to be fully, I'm in the dark. I've no idea what to do. It's just, I don't want to use this masculine energy symbol to defend myself. And we know it's going to be a masculine. Like, what are you going to have in your hands that you're going to use to defend yourself? It's going to be some masculine kind of bat or club or something that you're going to hit them with. That is another masculine symbol. So it's like we're forcing you in a way to pick up and use your own masculine energy.
Wow, that's cool. And then what is the lounge? Is that like the living room?
So she's kind of isolated herself and protected herself and locked herself in. And that's what we kind of want to do in life, but it doesn't work. And so despite us doing all of those things, our guides let things into us, things get to us. And, if we fully knew how much they're doing to orchestrate the chaos in our lives, we probably wouldn't be happy. But we've given them free rein to do it.
Mm. Yes, that's excellent. Okay, so she's got stuff to protect her. Let's continue on in the dream. Then I'm flying up and away, looking down at the landscape and the horizon, thinking, it's a lovely house. I have a flashback of when I first saw the house with the owners as we were buying it. The meeting was happy. Now it feels unsafe there. I wonder, why would you want a house where you can't leave it safely at night because of wild animals? It's so lovely to walk out and about in nature at night. But if you have to lock yourself inside to be safe, it's more of a prison. Very interesting there, Michael.
So flying up is about mentally rising above a problem, and it's a proper use of masculine energy. It's always positive in a dream. In fact, it's so positive that if you have a flying dream, you're always going to wake up feeling great. So this is what the dream's trying to do, get her to pick up her own masculine energy. Anyway, she's developed her intellect to a high degree, and she's able to gain perspective, step outside her emotional overwhelm, which she has a lot of right now, and look at the situation objectively. That's what she's doing, putting things into context. And so this is a significant strength of hers rather than an escape mechanism. And this is why I say, because that's all masculine energy, that ability to do that. So we never look at masculine or feminine energy and go, oh, my problems are all masculine energy, therefore everything on the list I have a problem with. No, you don't. You're only going to have a problem with two or three, typically at most. Sometimes it's just one of those items on the list, and all the other stuff is balanced. So we see her using balanced aspects of her masculine energy to try combat the non-balanced ones, which are her fear of not feeling safe. Because ultimately, feeling safe and secure is what masculine energy is all about. Am I protected? Am I supported? So when she looked down at the house and reflected that it once seemed wonderful, but now is unsafe, this is an important realization that what she has or where she's at in life no longer provides what she actually needs. And she's able to recognize that reality. Instead of fighting to preserve something that isn't working, she's hitting this point of looking at it and going, what is the point in having this if it doesn't give me what I thought it would give me? Like, I like going walking in nature, but I can't do it. I end up having to be locked up on the inside because I don't feel safe to go outside.
That's brilliant. How about the prison?
Yeah, so she wants to feel safe. And you would think from what she does at the start of the dream, where she locks everything, locks the doors and the windows and draws the curtains, it's like, perfect, you're safe now. But she isn't safe. So it's really pointing out what she's done in life so far has not brought her to the state that she wanted to be in. It hasn't given her the safety or the security, which it hasn't. The dissolution of her marriage and other things that have happened to her are showing her in cold, harsh reality that all the things you've done don't count anymore, that everything has to change.
Wow, that's harsh. And there's more to this dream. Let's see what else is in this dream. I come down to land on a road or trail where I meet Stephen Colbert talking to someone. I wanted to ask them for guidance. Later, Stephen is lying on a camp bed. I ask him about the dream and why I'm dreaming about wolves and bears still. What does it mean? He says he doesn't want to engage. Very interesting there, Michael. You want to explain?
Yeah. So I said earlier, it's about masculine energy. And here's the proof. We have a man in the dream who is not being manly. He's not supporting her, not helping her. But even if we didn't have that horrible interaction, he's lying on a camp bed. So we want the man in the dream to be standing up, to be tall, not to be lying down and inept. I like Stephen Colbert, so I'm sorry that he's playing this negative role here. But he's the masculine symbol and he refuses to help interpret the dream. So he doesn't step up. So that means that the masculine support she seeks in life is unavailable or ineffective.
Let's continue on. That's very interesting about Stephen Colbert. Then I'm flying again, high over an open, sweeping landscape, like a moorland rising up to the mountains. Something attracts my attention and I fly down to it. I think it's a stream that emerges from the ground. I follow the line of rocks showing its route up the mountainside, and suddenly two monster-type creatures appear below me, galloping away up at the hills in front of me. They are huge, gnarly creatures with short, muscular legs and powerful heads, like some ancient dinosaur. They galloped up the slope, and then the mountainside opens up like a cave for them to rush into, and then immediately closes up behind them. All the rocks settle into place, so you wouldn't have known there was ever an opening or that these creatures had existed. Okay, Michael, let's see what you have to say about this. This got really scary.
So we're out of time. I'm going to summarize this real quickly by just saying that the last part of the dream is really good, and it reveals a growing awareness of deeper realities and hidden forces operating beneath the surface. And that's very good for her to see. It's like, I wanted to be safe. I thought I was safe. And now the very thing that I fought to have, I no longer feel safe in it. There's no point in me having it. I can't even go outside. So now she's looking at life differently and going, what else is there? What is causing my feeling of not being safe? And it's symbolically shown in the dream by these creatures. It's a positive end because she's seeing something that other people don't see.
Alrighty, Michael, what an interesting dream, pointing out the differences in masculine energy and how they felt and the trait that it causes them to have and what they're asked to work on. I think that's all we have for this week. Do you have anything else that you would like to talk about, Michael?
Sure, we have that download that will talk about masculine and feminine energy. If you want to look at the list of what are the traits for each of those energies, and it's a very useful list to have. You can get a lot of information about masculine and feminine energy on the internet, and it's wrong. So you want to look at the list that we have below this podcast is based on what the spirit world says and what dreams say is masculine energy traits and feminine energy traits. But it's available for free. You can find it under this show. That's it. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you.